What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends.
What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is still the morning because it's the Millionaire Morning Show. As you can see, sun is starting to rise over that haze in the background. And we in a good space. So it is Wednesday, June 28th, 2023, year of our Lord. And we got a full show lined up for you guys. So just because I'm not necessarily live and that this is pre-recorded, it is literally 5 o'clock in the morning because I got to run into the office. So a lot of you guys are familiar with what it is that I got going on in my life. Just because this is pre-recorded and this is a premiere does not mean that we miss. It does not mean that you have an excuse not to be here. It does not mean that we don't go through our regularly scheduled program. It does not mean that we don't have a full show lined up for you guys. The only difference, which is a huge difference, which is one of the reasons that this bothers me so much, and I do not want to do pre-recorded shows because I love interacting with the audience, even if it's just the chat, even if it's different people typing different things that disagree with me and all of that other type of stuff. I love interacting with the audience. And so this is slightly different. It's bothersome, but we're going to make the adjustment for this one day. And tomorrow we're going to be back to our regularly scheduled program. But again, it's 5 o'clock in the morning for me, but it should be around 10:30 for you. And we're going to get it popping. So again, make sure that you support the sponsor, Tej Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We're going to get the housekeeping out of the way. You see, it's just different. It's just different when you doing pre-recorded instead of doing it live. But make sure you guys get the housekeeping out of the way. Tej Henley, 30% off first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. If you're using any of the Tej pack, you're doing yourself a disservice. On top of that, I am dropping a new video tomorrow in the Patreon. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, you will have a new video on the Patreon. I dropped a video a couple days ago that is very passionate, heartfelt, and it also helps you get to the bag. Talking specifically about your exit strategy, whether you are in business, whether you're in corporate America, and everything you need to have an exit strategy and how to execute that effectively. And I give you some real life tips on how to really implement that and what my exit strategy is, because I always use myself as an example. So if you have not watched that yet and you are a bag chaser, make sure you go and watch it. If you are not a Patreon member, that link should be in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And I want you guys to be able to tap into that. In addition to that, make sure that you guys Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications because it will be an action-packed show. It may be even more action-packed with as much energy, if not more, than I usually do from down in the studio in Detroit. So last night, it is so hilarious, right? So last night, I'm laying in the bed because I had to get to bed a little bit earlier than usual in order to prepare for this live stream today because, you know, I got a lot going on. I got to make sure everything is taken care of. But I still got to go into corporate for one day. I was able to get out of it yesterday. I'm not having to be there tomorrow. I got a flight this afternoon to fly over to Miami and so on and so forth. And so I'm laying in the bed and me and Rita are laughing and stuff like that. And she says, Anton, I don't like that pop. She says, I don't like that pop that you be doing in the morning. And I says, I don't really care for it either anymore. It's almost like it's war. You know, I'm tired of it now. But stuff just naturally evolved. And a lot of people is not familiar with where the pop came from. So the pop came from a video that I reviewed from a TikToker that basically was talking about how she got kicked out of her school on Juneteenth, right? And I'm like, yeah, I don't really care for it either. And I said, why you don't care for it? She was like, because it's kind of gay. Like, yeah, I could see why you would say that or whatever. And so I'm like, yo, I'm about to evolve from the pop. I said, but some of the people like the pop and some of the people don't like the pop. So we laughing back and forth. I get a message on Instagram from the girl, and I'm talking about almost maybe within 10 minutes. And this is how you know, like, maybe you just manifest stuff. Maybe God, like, the universe attracts different things. I believe that to an extent. Like, I believe that you can speak something into existence, or you can speak certain things into your life, or you can believe something so much that you start to implement it and then it start to make itself manifest, right? But neither here nor there. So within a few minutes after that, I get a DM on Instagram, and it's from the girl. It's actually, it wasn't a DM. It was a comment because I don't see the DMs just from regular everyday people, right? Unless I go and search for it and I'll look in the request folder. But it was a comment on one of my pictures, right? And let me read the comment for you really quickly. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I don't even know if it's still on there. And I'll tell you why. But let me see if I can find it. I'll read it for you guys. And sometimes I'm still like very weirded out at some things, but she might have deleted it. Yeah, she might have deleted it. She might even block me. But I still think I got the DM. So let me let me read the DM really quickly. She says, oh yeah, this is her. This is her. Here, let me flip the camera really quickly to kind of give you a sense of what it is that she's saying. So let me read it to you. And at first, I didn't even know who this person was, right? So she says, unless you want to be sued for defamation and harassment, you need to remove me from your channel, or I will work my hardest to have your entire platform removed. You have one day before we start this process, and I will see you in court in Michigan and whatever county you're in. If not, you can check your P.O. box in about a week for the paperwork and court hearing. And then she started talking about my wife and stuff like that. But neither here nor there. But the point is, and I don't, I've been doing this content creation game for a long time. I've seen a lot. I've been threatened by most. That's just life. But here's the key though, right? First things first, you have to come a lot nicer than that, right? Because I keep telling women this all the time. You can get almost anything that you want, especially from a simp, but not from me. You can get almost anything you want in this lifetime if you just ask the right way. You can get anything you want almost if you just like really live in your femininity. You can't come with threats and then think that I'm supposed to, because first she commented on the comments and then I was like, who is this chick or whatever, right? So I click on her profile and then obviously I go to messages to see if she had sent me something and that was in there, right? But you can't bully people. I'm not even gonna say me because it's beyond me. You can't bully people into doing what it is that you do. All you got to do is go up, ask nicely, and then I might consider it. I'll consider, depending on who you are, because I didn't even know who she was. I genuinely didn't even know who she was yet. The only reason that I even figured out who it was because my first response was, "Yo, I don't even know who you are," and I had replied in my comments back to her. I said, "I don't even know who you are." You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? What video are you referring to? You know what I'm saying? Because just like everybody else, they all catfish you. They look completely different in their profile picture than they do on the on the actual video. That's why y'all got to be careful of who y'all DMing because all of these souped up, shopped up pictures is completely different than what you're gonna see and interact with online. All right, but I'm like, I don't even know who this chick is. I don't even know who you are. Yo, kindly, and I said it. I said, kindly send me something, and then we'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? Send me the post that you're talking about, and then we'll consider it. Because I didn't even know who she was, but I'm a nice guy, and if somebody is like, "Hey, oh my God, I'm feeling a certain type of way. My feelings are hurt. I didn't know," then I would consider it, right? But then I started putting two and three together because one of the things that she typed is pop, and she typed it with the parentheses. And so that snapped for me. I'm like, oh, I know who she is, right? And so she's feeling a certain type of way. Now, the clip didn't even get that many views. It only got like 10,000 views, 9,000 views or something like that. Nothing significant. So, it doesn't do anything for me, but it was just hilarious. And then she goes on and starts, going back and forth talking about my wife and all of this other type of stuff, right? And I better have it done by 8 o'clock in the morning you know, or else, or she'll see me in court and all of this other type of stuff. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not really sure who you think that I am, but I have four lawyers, including one. Well, I'm not going to get into that. All of them do different things because all of them are different types of lawyers. However, my point is that I only got two things that I want to say with this, and then we're going to move on to the show. Actually three. Black women are out of fucking control. What makes y'all think, and it's a story that I actually want to go into today about that graduate woman that snatched the mic from the white administrator and then she gonna go on Instagram and on her story talking about black women are always right. Yo, y'all are absolutely out of control because one of the things that she typed in here was, she gonna stand up for black women or whatever, so on and so forth. And I'm like, these chicks is crazy. I mean, flat out crazy, in my opinion, out of their mind. They have been too empowered. They have been too enabled. Too many simps are probably in their DMs. Too many people are justifying bad behavior and all of this other type of stuff. And this is why they feel comfortable enough to just, in the first message that they send you, they threaten you. That's A, right? B, y'all need to get off the internet. If you can't handle people reacting and having comments and having a perspective and reacting to whatever it is that you say on the internet, right? We don't care what you do in your personal life. We don't care what it is that you got going on. But when you start to use your personal life as a microphone in order to try to justify why you're doing what you're doing, nobody told you to pick up TikTok. Nobody told you to create videos. If you can't handle and the only thing you want to do is be in an echo chamber, then you need to be in an echo chamber in private or only send it to your friends in private or whatever, so on and so forth. And even that's not smart because you shouldn't be recording videos anyway. But you need to just be having conversations in person. But the minute that you do this, the minute that you pick up this phone and you start recording, and as of the recording of this video right here, I think that TikTok that she put up got over 2 million views, a whole bunch of people reacting to it or whatever like that. The minute that you decide that you want to stand on a mountaintop and give your thoughts and give your opinions about things and tell your story about what happened to you, you can't control how people react to it. That's the beauty in America, is that you can have freedom of speech, but you can't have freedom from how people react to it and consequences that come along with it. And so as a result, if somebody say, yo, we don't agree with you, we don't agree with what it is that you put on there on the internet, you got to put your big girl panties on. But everybody want to have a voice, and don't nobody want to deal with the consequences that come along with it. The third thing is, I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, for a long time. And so you got to pick and choose your battles carefully and wisely. Um, I wish you the best of luck. I would have even considered it if I'd have realized who you were, if you'd have asked nicely before. Because I'm just a nice person. But in reality, again, you probably need to read YouTube and TikTok's terms of service. Um, and then we'll just go through the process and figure out how that plays out from there. Okay, Pumpkin? All right. So, again, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Y'all need to get off the internet if y'all don't want to be a part of the conversation, because I understand that what I say on this platform, people can react to it and they can have an opinion about it. I'm cool with that. It is what it is. Now, if people go in and they start doxing and putting out false information that's not even communicated inside of the videos and stuff like that, then we have a completely different conversation. I'm well versed in defamation and mischaracterization, all of that. Like, I've spent a lot of money talking to a lot of lawyers, researching, understanding, and seeing how this is going to play out. So we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep my people updated, but black women are absolutely out of control. They all in my DMs. They be in my chick's DMs. But again, I understood what came with the territory, and we just deal with it accordingly. So again, make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. If you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And let's go ahead and get into the show. So again, I got a full show lined up for you guys. I'm so used to reading super chats after every time that I talk or every segment that I address something. But we don't have the ability to do that because I can't see you. But I'm still watching you. I'm probably in a meeting right now, watching you, watching me react to what it is that we're talking about. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that understand that we don't miss. I know that half of y'all are back chasers, and the other bit of y'all need to jump into the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. So, Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I assumed, but unsuccessfully, obviously, because I thought that this thing was going to go away. I thought that the last conversation that we were going to have about this mother, her son, Chicago, all of this other type of stuff, what happened late at night, that we were done addressing this. And so I had largely been prepared to have a completely different conversation as my opening story that I wanted to address. Because what did I tell y'all? What do I always tell y'all? And the reason why this is called the Millionaire Morning Show is because it always comes back down to the money, just as predicted. And so a lot of people always say, well, that's a news story or this and that and so on and so forth. Listen, whether you're talking about politics, whether you're talking about real estate, corporate America, your job, athletes, the city of Chicago, some of these most egregious stuff that's happening in the streets on a regular basis, it always comes back down to the money. If you can't see the long-term play in this stuff, then you are crazy. You are disillusioned. You have no clue of what's going on. If you couldn't see this a mile away, and again, it always comes back down to the money. So apparently there was a press conference, and you guys sent me this yesterday. And so I said, oh, okay, well, I guess that we're going to lead off with that because we're going to just address this right away. Apparently there was a press conference in which The mother that was released as a result of being charged or being charged and then the charges dropped, the mother that was in the skerfuffle and then her son coming in and, everything that happened with that whole situation is allegedly suing the city of Chicago. If y'all telling me that it's any other city that's more poorly ran than Chicago, I will not believe you. I am not going for it. I don't think that there's another city that is as bad as Chicago. Not even a little bit. I mean, they can't win for losing. They can't lose for winning. Even when you drop the charges, you still lose. The city of Chicago has got to be the pit of America right now, culturally, financially, uh, when it comes to having their elected officials not being able to make the right decisions, not being able to have the foresight of what's going to happen, but neither here nor there. So I'm going to go ahead, and I have not watched the press conference yet. I just looked at the title of the video, and so I said, as usual, I'm going to react to this in real time and see what's happening out here in these streets. So again, apparently the city of Chicago is under fire because now it's a lawsuit, in which I like to call a retirement plan. So let me go ahead and deep dive into this video again. I have not seen it. I might have to scrub through it because I've seen smaller clips. This is the full press conference, but I want to deep dive into this, and then hopefully we can mine out exactly what's going on out here in the city of Chicago. Make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I don't know if you really hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, so I can't I can't go to a Teach commercial if you underrepresenting in the likes department. But let's go ahead and get into the press conference. I might have to scrub through this a little bit. Oh my God. The first thing that I noticed is the law group in the back. You see it?
Good morning.
Oh my God.
Morning. I'm just spelling my name, Ari, Attorney Ari Williams, A-R-I Williams. Common
Kind of
Servant.
low.
Thank you all for being here today. I want to first thank the Cook County State's Attorney, Kim Fox, for doing the right thing and dismissing the charges. This is what justice looks like. I also want to acknowledge everyone who has been impacted by this in any way. To everyone who has supported Ms. Hood and her family through this trying time, we thank you. Yesterday, criminal charges of first-degree murder were dismissed against Ms. Hood and her 14-year-old son, rightfully so. Now that she is free, we think it is important that her story is told and that she is heard.
I believe that lawyers have a place in this society. I think that they are necessary. Um, is this what we would call ambulance chasing? A version of it? I don't know. Let's go ahead and hear the rest of it, and then let's react to what's being communicated right here. Because all of the acting and the product placement in the background, and then the seriousness of the face in order to emphasize something and all of that.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carlisha, Carlishia. Last name is Hood, Hood. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support for me and my family. On June 18th of this year, my life changed.
Which was 10 days ago from today.
My son's life changed. I've experienced pain in many ways that I would never have thought, never what happened to me was totally unnecessary. Never in a million years would I have imagined being brutally attacked, beaten, and then arrested. I am thankful that the Cook County State's Attorney dismissed the case. I am also thankful to have my son with me and by my side, and also his charges being dismissed. I thank my family for supporting me.
All throughout this process and this entire thing, and the biggest thing that has been on my mind, the biggest question that's been on my mind is, where is the father in this situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, and this is the thing that people continue to ignore, which in my opinion is the bigger problem within our communities. Now, you can argue one way and say, well, fathers need to be present and fighting to be in their kids' lives or whatever, so on and so forth. Well, we don't know what her specific situation is. Or we can say that women often at times choose to be single mothers. Well, we don't know what her specific situation is. But culturally, we know that it is a cultural norm that within the black community specifically, and more importantly, it is now being championed within our culture to where it is okay to be a single parent. And so I have to ask the question on a regular basis, how is all of this taking place, and would this have been prevented? Because again, when you choose to have a child and you choose to, subject your child to the conditions, obviously, that we know statistically speaking is worse for them when you're raising a child in a single parent household, which again, I don't know if she's single or not, but I can't imagine, right, that my wife and my kid would be going through this or going outside at that time of night and then getting into this situation in the first place. But neither here nor there. I'm sure that over time we'll see this play out. I'm always weirded out, and it's always wild to me that this is playing out, but they're not tapping into and looking to get insight and information from a man. But let's continue, y'all.
And the people all over the world, the people did not play. Yeah. And I just thank God everything was revealed.
Everything was not revealed, in my opinion, because I want to know what the conversations were that ensued prior to that happening. I have so many other questions personally, right? I have no clue, because we're still, even 10 days later after the charges was filed, after the charges was dropped, we don't know what was really said. We don't know what happened that led up to that conversation. We don't know a lot of different things. So, for them to say that, the story was told and all of this other type of stuff, from where or who? Because I think it's an injustice on men, and that it's unfair. And I also think it's an injustice that, we can have the court of public opinion in which people would come to the aid, but they're not necessarily actually know the full story. This is just wild to me.
And just everybody who has been praying and rooting for us, I just thank God for them. That did not go unnoticed. You are all not forgotten, and we are.
And I don't think that she should have went to jail. Personally, I don't think that a person should spend the rest of their life in jail. Once they get to the point to where they got to defend themselves from somebody putting their hands on them, because the dude should have never put his hands on her in the first place. So that's not even an issue that we're talking about right now. But I want to hear the rest of the press conference.
Praying for all the families affected by this horrible tragedy. I am now in the process of healing and putting my family's life back together. During this trying time, we ask if, we can please have space to rest and recover from this life-altering situation.
While we doing a press conference, to now, which we haven't got to that part yet, advertise for the law firm and then possibly get a settlement with the city of Chicago to go and get that bag. But let me rest and let me be quiet. All right, I'm with you. Well played.
And that you all continue to keep us in your prayers.
Because they called all of the news stations, because you see all the little microphones over there, but I'm well played. Well played.
In the near future, I will be able to respond to outpouring of support. Again, I just need a little time to heal and to just get my life back with my baby. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Take your time. Take your time, baby.
That's it.
Am I insensitive? Or am I just jaded by the realities of life? Am I insensitive, or am I jaded, or just naturally skeptical of what it is that I'm seeing here? Because I mean, it's not like I don't know if they working with HD cameras, if that's a 4K camera, if that's just a 1080p, if they streaming this and that, whatever, so on and so forth. But it seems like it's a lot of truth and a lot of acting in there. And then you got the compassionate attorney that's right next to her, patting her on the back. Well played, well played. But let me play a little bit more before I give my thoughts.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right, Color. It's all right, baby. You're strong. You're strong.
Where's the tears at? Maybe I missed them. Maybe I can see them. Or maybe I can't, and they there, and I just can't identify it. But where are these tears at? And again, I can't imagine going through that. But to know, and this is just me personally, to know that you got that big dog payday that's on the other end of that conversation, despite what you've been through, or despite who lost their life, because the other guys, they family, they ain't got nobody else. Like whoever that guy was that put his hands on her, that wasn't supposed to put her hands on her, that's probably 10 feet deep right now and all of that. I know their family is probably broken up too as a result of it, because you know how your family members are, right? Regardless of I see y'all do it all the time. Free Ray, and you have the free such and such t-shirt, but that same dude was out here causing havoc, wreaking havoc and doing that. And so people still feel a certain type of way about their people, right? But maybe I missed it. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can see some more tears.
Oh, Jesus.
You're strong. God bless you. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Attorney Brandon Brown. That's Brandon. Last name Brown, BROWN. This morning, we filed a 4-count complaint on behalf of Carlisha Hood. This complaint is being filed against the city of Chicago and the defendant officers who were responsible for her arrest. The complaint contains counts of malicious.
This is why it doesn't pay to be a police officer. Again, when I had the conversation with y'all and I said, listen, fellas, stay out of it. You had the community activist over there and he was talking about, where's the people that didn't intervene and all of that other type of stuff. Listen, the police officers intervened and they getting complained about and sued, allegedly. A 4-count complaint about the arresting officers. No, the officers follow protocol, and then it becomes the prosecuting or the district attorney and all of the whoever it is that you start to roll up with that determines whether or not they want to actually prosecute or whatever. But they just followed whatever their training was and their protocol. But of course, listen, the officers. Now, if the officers is getting lawed up and complained about and sued and all of this other type of stuff on behalf of the city of Chicago, then what do you expect us? This is why guys and men and people in general choose to walk away or withdraw themselves from a circumstance or a situation, because there is no happy ending when you start to intervene or participate in or with something that is not going to do you. This is why guys are walking away. Because the minute that you get involved in it, then your life is completely changed as a result of it. You don't know what's going. Yo, I didn't heard of people literally getting sued for administering CPR, trying to help somebody or whatever, so on and so forth. And then they'd be like, do something. Nope. Because you're not about to ruin my life. There is no happy ending for men. Listen. There are laws and procedures in place for a reason, and don't let nobody convince you that you need to go out there and crash out. This is what's going to happen as a result of it.
Malicious prosecution, false arrest, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress. I know it seems like it's a lot of big words, but they don't really, it's not. Intentional infliction. That means that these officers and the prosecutor's attorney, they wanted to inflict emotional distress. Now, I'm sure that they was laying in their bed, laid up with their chick or laid up with their husband or whatever, so on and so forth, and they didn't want to get called over into the scene and go and pick up this body off the ground from this guy that just got his muffin top peeled back because he shouldn't have been putting his hands on a woman that we don't even know what happened in the argument that ensued prior to it, from a 14-year-old that was then, in my opinion, used as a weapon in order to maybe protect or whatever it is that you want to look at it at. But I'm sure none of these people was looking forward to this, nor was they intentionally trying to put this thing together. However, this is the prize that you get from being a public servant. This is the prize that you get from being a public servant.
We do not take what happened to Ms. Hood lightly, and we intend to pursue this lawsuit, and there will be additional lawsuits forthcoming. I want to add that Ms. Hood and myself, we recognize that there has been a life loss, and so we are praying for the family of this man who lost his life. I don't want that to be forgotten. We appreciate that lives were affected by this incident, and so we don't want to.
We appreciate that lives were affected by this.
We don't want to dilute or diminish that. However, Ms. Hood and her son, we believe were wrong, and we intend to pursue that. Ms. Hood is not going to be answering any direct questions. Myself and Attorney Williams will be answering a limited number of questions. However, once Ms. Hood has time, and keep in mind that Ms. Hood was just released yesterday afternoon, and so she needs time. But once she is able to process and reconnect with her family, she will present herself again, and we will make her available, but not right now. We're asking that you give her space. We understand that there have been a number of people going to her home, attempting to contact her at her home.
Now that's egregious. That's messed up. Stay away from this chick's home. Stop trying to find out where she lived. Don't try to find out where she worked or anything like that. Like, people shouldn't be trying to. It's not that deep. Like, the story is not that deep. React to whatever is being presented by the news or whatever, so on and so forth, and keep it moving from there. But please stop being extra when it comes to that.
We also recognize that there have been things going on in the World Wide Web that may not necessarily be genuine or without malice. Yes. And so we would ask each and every one of you out there to keep this family in your prayers. Protect this family. Yes. Protect this family, and I have good reason to believe that they need protection. And with that, we would open it up to any questions.
All right, so there it is. There you have it. I don't really want to see whatever the questions are. I'm not interested or whatever like that. If y'all want to watch the rest of the video or whatever, then you're more than likely to do so. But again, it's unfortunate that it even got to this point to where somebody had to lose their life. That the biggest victim in this situation, in my opinion, is the 14-year-old kid. And Now we have in a situation or a press conference to where there has to be a lawsuit, and we're having conversations about the arresting officers and all of that because everybody is catching a shrapnel as a result of it. It's very, very unfortunate, and I guess we're going to play it by ear and see what happens. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. It is very interesting to see how this thing is playing out. Let's continue. So, this has been a story that's been playing out for a while. And one of the things that I like to do before I react to things is I like to let and see how things unfold afterwards, because that helps you or it gives you a perspective of the full story instead of just reacting immediately after the day that somebody sends it to you, right? Because somebody sent this to me a little while ago. But seeing the full story will help put things into perspective, and it will help you understand the mindset of the person that actually did this instead of the narrative that's being painted from a small clip. But I think that this is an interesting story, and somebody also sent this to me afterwards recently because Candace Owens, one of my upcoming favorite people to be able to react to, Candace Owens apparently had a take on this, right? And so, again, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's deep dive.
All right, Black America, you're really testing me this week. It's not really how I wanted to end the week. We started with Juneteenth being ghetto and made up. People were upset about that.
Let me fast forward.
And news, it's a young Black girl. Her name is Kadia Aman. It is alleged that this clip was taken. All right, so let's just start from the beginning. This clip started making the rounds yesterday online. It's got millions and millions of views. It's a young Black girl. Her name is Kadia Aman. It is alleged that this clip was taken at Queens College, but we've not yet been able to confirm that. It's a graduation ceremony nonetheless. And this is what was shared online. I want you to actually just watch her behavior and see what your gut reaction is to it. Take a listen.
Okay, let go. Let go. You didn't let me get my moment, so I want to say my name is Khadija Cadiano, and I'm graduating today. I don't like how you snatched the mic out of my hand, so today is going to be all about me.
Oh. Honestly, again, I don't know how y'all looking at me crazy sometimes when I start to have this conversation and I say that these women are absolutely out of control. I don't understand. I have no clue of how y'all believe or how y'all don't see these women are absolutely out of control. The way that she ripped the mic out of that chick's hand, threw the mic down, said whatever she said, and had that sassy attitude that go along with it. How are y'all missing this? How do y'all not believe that this is absolutely out of control as a result of it? I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I don't get how y'all can justify this. I've seen some people in the comments of some of these, the video or the chick that did this, and they was talking about, yeah, go Black Queen and all of this other type of stuff. Why do y'all enable such bad behavior? Why do y'all think that this is cute? Why do women even believe? And where are the people around her? Did they tell her that was cute and she was cool with that and it was okay for her to be able to do that and snatch the mic out of somebody's hand? We don't have no class. It don't matter where we are, where we go. We go and mess up every single thing. It's dudes that's messing up the perspective of what Black culture and Black people are all the way overseas. They over here at the colleges now. Your favorite restaurant, they walking in with no shirt on and no shoes. You got bad attitudes. It's just hyenas everywhere. Hyenas is everywhere, just tearing up, destroying, and just messing up everything that we've worked to build or our ancestors worked to build. And y'all do realize that in a 5 to 10 second clip, you can undo a lifetime of work of somebody trying to present a different perspective or a narrative as to how it is that that this stereotype should be done away with. But these are y'all queens.
Drops the mic.
Look, listen to the person that recorded it in the background. Drops the mic. Get it, girl. Enable them. This is why they feel empowered. This is why they feel comfortable doing this.
A lot happening in that video. Very clearly, she just wrestled that microphone out of a white administrator's hand, stole the mic, said the day was going to be all about her, threw it on the ground. Miraculously, someone in the background is like, you go, girl, congratulations, because that person is filth. And you would think that any person watching this video, if we lived in a normal society where there were any moral standards, if we agreed upon behavior that was immoral and irrational, every single person would be condemning this girl, right? Forget what she says. Forget even if she was telling the truth. And that woman didn't let her have her moment, whatever that means at a graduation ceremony. I don't think I've ever been allowed to speak at any of my graduation ceremonies, unless you're maybe the valedictorian or there to give a speech. Whatever that means, her behavior would be unacceptable, right? You would say, even if something went wrong, the correct way to deal with that and to remedy that would not be to snatch a microphone and wrestle it out of the hand of one of your administrators, take the mic, cause this bizarre situation in front of all of these other graduates that are surrounding you, and then to throw it onto the floor and to walk off. In a normal, rational world, we don't live there. That's not where we are in America. So shockingly, this video hits the internet, and immediately people are saying, well, I just want more context. What more context do you need to this behavior? Well, they got more context because Khadijah herself then went onto TikTok to explain why she did that. Hear her version of events. Take a listen.
Here's my story time. Basically, what happened was I was walking on and we had to announce our names and say our name before we get on the stage. So I was saying my name and she literally, my name is long. My name, obviously, I have like 3 syllables in my name. I'm not gonna say exactly my name right now, but okay.
You said your name in the video. When you flipped out and you walked away and all of this other type of stuff, you said your name in the video. What are we missing here? Now you don't want to say your name? You felt bad enough to be able to say your name. You felt bad enough to be able to say your name, but now you don't want to say your name. Okay, well, let's continue.
Just so you get a point. So I didn't even finish getting to say my name. And then the people that went before me and everything, they all got to say their name, their major, and even extras. And me and another girl noticed that she was pulling the mic down super fast for some black people. I don't want to be that person, but
oh my God.
that was the tea. So, I mean, I just couldn't let that happen because I just feel like I worked so hard to graduate and went through so much to graduate that I just felt like I had to reclaim my moment. I'm sorry, like, I'm not a...
Why does it always turn out to be a black issue? Is my question. Why is it always turning out to be a black issue? That's the thing that I'm confused about. I'm confused. No matter what, it always comes back to being a racial thing. Nobody ever said anything that it was race about. You know, it's never, ever really a racial situation, all of this other type of stuff. But why does it always, in some way, shape, or form, come back to being a black thing, or it'll come back to being a a woman thing? Because, or if they really want to get at you, then it'll be a black woman thing. It's always somehow, some way you can justify in your mind that it is going to be a black thing or it's going to be a mother thing. Amazing.
Problematic person. I don't want to ruin no one's day. I don't want to violate anybody, but that's what she did. She didn't even let me finish speaking. She put the mic down, cut me off, and that was the only time I was able to speak. So I just feel like that wasn't right.
Sorry, I must have missed standing. I'm assuming racism. That's why she did it, of course. It's 2023. I'm assuming whatever she did was because of racism. What did she say there? So she's at the graduation. Who's buying this? Okay, again, we believe this took place in Queens, but we do know it took place in 2023 in America. So we are supposed to believe that in 2023 America, following BLM rotting our entire society and rotting the minds of young people, there was this white administrator who just couldn't help herself this graduation. And she was tasked with holding this mic and allowing kids to say their names. And she decided that every time she saw a black person, she just wasn't going to let them do it because she's like, you know what? I'm one of those good old dirty racists from the South back in the 1940s. So when I see a black person trying to say their name, I'm going to stop them. You would think that, obviously, a version of events like that wouldn't pass the sniff test, but what do you know? People were applauding her in the comments. I couldn't believe it on Twitter. You go, baby. Yes, sometimes black.
And that's the part that I'm always confused about. Is like, why are people always justifying this bad behavior instead of trying to hold people accountable so that we can present ourselves and be looked at differently by society, and then I don't have to do all of the extras to undo a lot of the things that you've already put me behind in by being a self-inflicted wound victim in this society. It's just weird to me.
People just need to be heard. Of course, this is the true version of events. What else could happen? This happens all the time. There are just white administrators that are stopping black people from being allowed to speak at their graduation. Again, I don't know why anybody is expecting to speak at their graduation, aside from being the valedictorian. So obviously, this girl was lying. But obviously, it takes a modicum of common sense to be able to deduce that very quickly. We don't live among people with common sense anymore in America. We live among race hustlers. We live among people that are emotional and irrational. And so they rushed to her defense before her other classmates, who also happened to be black, said that she was lying. That actually, that's not what happened at all. Now, the audio in this next clip I'm going to show you is not really great, but don't worry, I'm going to reiterate what this girl says, who also attended this graduation and who also, despite being black, was allowed to say her name in the microphone. Take a listen.
I was in the graduation. I graduated with my graduation. Basically, there was two sections, Section A and Section B, and within
Not another black person, specifically a black woman that has a completely different perspective, but let's continue.
those two sections, there was two long lines, and we were told to say our names when we approached the lady in the video, to say our names within the mic. But she didn't know any of our names to know whether or not it was long, short, how many siblings, XYZ. She didn't know.
Not siblings. How many syllables?
To hold it a certain way, how long.
Hey, I bet you all of the guys that was watching this video or that's watching this right now, like, dang, she might be a little thick, slim in the waist, fat in the hips. I know how guys think. Y'all too busy probably looking at whether or not she, and then the girls is probably looking at her to see if she's, why she, girl, don't comb your hair like that and all of that other type of stuff. Guys is looking to see if you're thick, and then girls is looking to see whether or not she combing her hair the right way. But neither here nor there. Let's continue.
None of that. So, we were just really told to say our first and last name. I also have said things extra than my.
Hey, y'all gonna have to start cleaning up y'all background. Like, take the clothes off the couch. When y'all set up the stuff, plop up the couch a little bit more and all of that other type of stuff. Y'all got to start doing things a little bit differently, man.
First and last name, I said I love my mama, and some girl before me who was also a chocolate girl said big up Jamaica. So I don't see where this, because we're black and all this other things that's coming into play. I also believe that she did that because it was a little white old lady. If it wasn't anybody else, I don't believe she would have done that. She would have took her L and would have walked. That.
Slow down, ma'am. But I think that you're right. Is if it was a black guy up there, a tall black man that was holding a microphone, she wouldn't have tried to snatch it out of his hands either. And so we got to respect the persons. We have a respect of persons. If you don't know what that means, respect of persons. meaning that we do certain people a certain way because we know that we can get away with it, or we have more respect for somebody specifically because we feel like there will be consequences that come along with it. That's what respect a person says.
That was the case. If that really happened. Also, the mic was never handed to us for it to get snatched. The lady was going back and forth to each line because remember there was 2 lines with with a person and going back and forth.
I know these some of these people and these administrators and these white people, they be like, man, I can't deal. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I was talking to somebody and they was telling me that a lot of the teachers, the really great teachers that's been in these schools for a very long time, in some of the best schools, including some of the schools that their kid is now going to be graduating from soon, is saying that they are getting the heck up out of these schools because it's getting worse and worse, and it's not worth the headache, and they can't wait to be able to retire. But
to each person like this, to say their names. So it wasn't no pause for somebody to hold a mic to say their name.
So essentially what she's saying is that Kadia is a liar. And by the way, footage from the graduation backs up exactly what this young woman is saying, that actually Kadia was never even allowed to hold the mic. When you watch the graduation video, there are 2 distinct lines, and there is that white woman that you see in the first clip holding it, going back and forth, allowing people to say what was just supposed to be their names. But as this young woman has acknowledged, nobody was able to do that. They had to add things. Big up, Jamaica. I love my mama. These kids really just couldn't follow simple instructions. And I guess Kadia felt that she deserved the entire mic to say something, and when that wasn't given to her, she went absolutely crazy. So those.
And you have to make sure that you nip that stuff in the bud, because the more that people feel like they can get away with. So if the guy for you is saying, yeah, big up to Jamaica, and then the guy after that, and then the girl after that say, I love my mama, and then it's just going to get progressively worse to where somebody feel like they could take the whole microphone, and if you don't acknowledge it, that's why you got to nip that stuff in the bud. You got to have a security officer. You got to have a police officer next to some of these people in order to even, get some of this stuff popping.
Are the true version of events. Aside from this, other classmates that attended the graduation have been commenting, saying how much of a lie this is. Now, you would think that Kadia would have some shame, right? This video has now gone viral. She has been violent towards an administrator. Frankly, Kadia should have been arrested for the way that she behaved. They probably should have revoked her degree, but none of that's going to happen in post-BLM America. So rather, she's going viral. She's getting attention. People are telling her that what she did was wrong. And what does Kadia do? What does Kadia do? Well, Kadia apparently has stage 4 BLM in her brain, because this is what she shared on her personal Instagram page. Kadia wrote, to everyone saying I should be embarrassed or I'll never get a job, I'm a Black woman in America. I am always in the right.
I told y'all. And the reason why they can get away with this, and the reason why they feel justified in being able to do this, is because they've been told, not even just by your comments, not even just by what it is that you say in your mouth, but they've been told, I am always in the right. I am a Black woman in America. I am always in the right. She felt comfortable after the video went viral, after she told her story, typing this up. She read it, thought about it, and then sent it out into the world and said, I am always in the right because I'm a Black woman. You believe me now? You rolling with me now? You actually believe and understand and think that a lot of these people and a lot of these women think that they can do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it, just because they are who they are, because they are a woman and they Black? Now do you understand what it is that men is up against? Now do you understand? Because this is not just at that graduation. This is what guys deal with in their households. This is what administrators are dealing with in the schools. This is what people are dealing with as far as employers, how they got to tiptoe around people. This is why you see people coming to the aid of Black women even when they're in the wrong. This is why simps continue to simp, is because they programmed them, and they programmed you too, to believe that just because, not because you actually justified in your actions, not because you can do whatever it is that you want to do, Just because you're black is the reason, singularly, that is the only reason, and you're a woman, why you right. Regardless of whether or not you actually right or wrong, or you can be justified in your actions, that is the reason, because you are black and you're a woman.
He will not gaslight me into thinking I'm the bad guy. I did it for the girls that look like me. Love you.
And they did it for the girls that look like them, which means that they're intentionally putting together bad behavior for more people to be able to justify this bad behavior going forward, which means that they teaching their daughters, they teaching the people that watch them, they empowering other people. And so other people are going to think that this is cool and they can get away with this behavior also.
It's just that sentence right there. I'm a black woman in America. I will always be right. That is what we call stage 4 BLM. That black people, a certain sector of the black community at least, believes that they no longer have to listen to rules. They no longer have to abide by the laws. They can do criminal things. They can smash up a McDonald's because it's Juneteenth and we're celebrating our freedom. They can twerk on top of a Pizza Hut despite paramedics being all around. They can do drugs in the middle of the street. They can disobey police officers. They don't have to listen to what a police officer says. They can swallow fentanyl and lethal doses and die after they swallow fentanyl, and still statues will be raised in their honor because I'm black. And BLM has rotted our society. This girl is
And BLM is allegedly going bankrupt, but neither here nor there.
Absolutely despicable. She behaves like a hood rat. There is no real future.
Call it like you see it, Candace. That's why I like her. Candace, listen, some of y'all be on the fence back and forth or whatever, but I love and respect Candace Owens tremendously.
Her, maybe somebody will see her and hire her and put her on the board of a stupid DEI initiative because she's underqualified, obviously extremely uneducated and utterly irrational, which makes her perfect for a DEI initiative. But other than that, it's not going to be good for Khadijah, which is why, at least according to reports, she's already on OnlyFans. Yeah, she's already on OnlyFans. She already knows the route.
And now we're going to reward them financially as a result by letting them be on fans only. You cannot make this is the blueprint for success for the majority of these women. This is wild. This is the blueprint for success for the majority of these women. Now she on fans only. So now don't listen. The black woman hood rat starter kit. Loud, unruly, going snatch the microphone out of a white woman's hand, double down on Instagram, maybe even Twitter, and then get a fans only account. And I know I'm saying it the other way. I'm saying it like that on purpose. And then go get that account, sell into the sunset, and you good. Jesus Christ, you got to be kidding me. Oh,
that she has to go down because she has absolutely no respect for herself. She is a symbol of cultural rot, and shame on every single black and or white American or American period who jumped to her defense and believed this ridiculous narrative that she in 2023 is a victim of old school Jim Crow racism. Give me a break. And that is all I'm going to say on that. Faith is an essential part of my.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing that we continue to reward bad behavior and that these women feel comfortable enough to continue to do what they want to do. And you know what the funniest part, you know what the worst part about this whole situation is? They don't have to apologize. They don't have to apologize. They don't have to say or do anything that then can justify how it is that they need to be moving differently or anything like that. They feel comfortable saying and doing what they want to do without any kind of repercussions that come along with it, because they know that not one of y'all, not one of you guys are ever going to hold them accountable, because you don't have the balls to be able to stand up and do so. And so as a result, this is what you get for it. You're going to get a fans only account to where you can pay her and reward her and allow for her to continue to be more successful, and I hope she make a lot of money as a result of y'all. I hope she make a bag off of y'all and that she becomes wildly successful because you deserve it. And these are y'all queens. All right, let me go ahead and move over into the next story because I got a couple more things that I want to go over with you guys. Again, make sure that you tap into that Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. In addition to that, make sure that you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And then last but not least, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. There was a woman that had released a video that had basically broke down how she was making $190,000 a year at Meta, practically doing nothing. And then there was a turn of events. And that turn of events basically led to her being fired or laid off. But I believe that she was able to finesse this and basically move this into a space to where she was able to capitalize off of it, possibly start her own business. And I think she's doing something like career finesse or something like that. I don't know. I'll try to look for it and put it in the description for y'all to be able to tap into her content or whatever like that. But I want to share a couple different videos from this woman that talks about what life is like working at Meta, or what life was like working at Meta, and then why she got fired. Make sure that you guys get a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock out.
What did we do all day? That is a great question. When I was working at Meta and I was a recruiter and we weren't expected to hire anybody for the first 6 months, even the first year, this is something they tell you when you start. That really blew my mind. I was like, perfect. I'm just going to ride this out for a year. Obviously, I didn't make that, but you know.
So the first question that I have for you guys, not even as it relates to her, but for you guys is, did you know that there were companies, I'm not so sure now because it sounds like that they're trying to cull the ranks and they're trying to clean things up a little bit more and not have these companies to be so bloated to where they're just giving away an egregious amount of money for people not necessarily doing anything. But did you know that there were people out here making $190,000, working from home, not necessarily doing anything, not being required to do anything? Here's the other question that comes along with that. Do you think that this is the fault of the company, or do you think that this is the fault of the employee not continuing to take initiative, or the company empowering them by saying that, hey, you guys don't necessarily, we're not expecting anything of you going forward? And here's the other question. If you are making $190,000 a year, doing nothing, working from home, chilling. Well, we haven't gotten to that point in the video. We'll continue. Stick around. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Come on, let's roll.
So what do you do all day? You're learning. They have a really amazing onboarding and training, the best onboarding and training I've seen from any company ever. It could have been better, but it was still very thorough. The expectations when you start is really that you're just learning and taking it all in because you're drinking from a fire hose. I hate that. I hate that phrase so much. But the most that we did, this is the crazy part, is we had so many team meetings. Why are we meeting? We're not hiring nobody. Just to hear.
If you're making $190,000 and we are living in the most coddled society that I've ever can in history can think of. I mean, man, listen, you're making an egregious amount of money. Do you care, like, how many meetings that you have to go through? Like, do you got something else that you need to be doing or something else that's going on? Like, it's the perspective that gets me. And it's like, yo, if I work you to death, then you're going to feel like that I'm giving you purpose and that you're important. But if you're able to be a lot more coddled and move the way that you're moving, then you're going to sit here and hold me accountable for making things too comfortable for you. If you're making 190 bands a year and you're not even having to do nothing, or you're just going through the training process so that you can eventually ramp up a year from now to actually be able to do the job more effectively, I expect for you to be in the meetings enthusiastic. I mean, I want you to be excited about whatever the meeting is about that we got going on. All you got to do is go and listen and then contribute and talk and learn and all of this other. They basically paying you 190 bands to learn their culture and to learn their processes. What you sitting there complaining about? I don't understand that.
Hear how everybody else wasn't hiring anybody. And also, I was on a team where everybody was new, so none of us were hiring anybody. We were all just like trying to figure out things. None of us knew the answers to. We would ask my boss, she'd be like, I don't know, because she was new too. I really miss it. I wasn't doing shit pretty much. That was nice. I miss it.
So let me share this next video. This is the before, and this is the after.
Every time I talk about my experience at Meta and how I hated it and how they fired me after 6 months, the number one question I get is, why did I get fired?
How did you hate an experience where you were getting paid and you was balling? How do you look? It's people that get paid nothing and they do well on everything. I am so perplexed. How did we get to this point in our society? And again, this is not an indictment on her. This is more or less a perspective based off of how it is that I see things going within our society in general. I don't know how we got to this place. How did we get to this dark space where now it's a bad thing to be paid an egregious amount of money to not necessarily do anything, and then you hated the experience? Or are we bitter as a result of what happened as a result of the experience? But let me go ahead and finish playing this so you can understand how she got fired, according to her.
I feel like I have to talk about this at least once a quarter, so here we go. I started Meta at, was it September, October of 2021. It was cool. I was like, oh my God, I love social media. I didn't have a following then. I didn't have a TikTok.
She does have personality though.
After I started my job at Meta, I posted a TikTok about Meta and my benefits. I would always...
Rule number 1. Understand the world by which you live in. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot and should not, that's probably the better word that we're using. You should not. And you should probably be more aware even if you don't understand the world in which you live in or the spaces in which you work. You should not ever put yourself in a position to fumble the bag. Stop fumbling the bag. Stop fumbling the bag. Stop fumbling the bag. Let me say it one more time. Stop fumbling the bag. Put your phone down. You do not have to post everything that's going on at your job or in your personal life if it is not actually translating. And again, this ain't even got nothing to do with her per se. This has something to do with using this example for you because she might have landed on her feet. I don't know if she's making the type of money that she was making at Meta. Who knows, right? All I can do is react to the video. But you guys your phones are getting you in trouble and you are fumbling the bag. And so I need you guys to put your phone up and stop finding yourself in a position to where now you got eyes on you. Now the company is starting to watch all of your social media. Now the company is paying attention to what the heck you're doing. Now they want to know if you've broken any rules and they're going through all of the guidelines and the bylaws and they got to get the lawyers on it and all this other type of stuff. And go in, make your money, and go home, man. Go home. You ain't never, ever seen me go in and record, outside of taking your daughter to work day or whatever like that. Man, ain't nobody talking about until after I left, after I had made the strategic. I was so strategic that I didn't even start the second channel after hours until after I had got out of the restaurant business because I didn't want the business to be affected by what it was that I was saying on social media. So everything was intentional. But a lot of these people get these big jobs or whatever, and they go and they see somebody else on TikTok or social media making it, my day at work, and then they start doing the same thing. You ain't read the paperwork that you signed. You ain't did none of that. But neither here nor there. Let's continue to hear this.
I see these day in the life videos and they'd be so cool of like people going into the Google office and the Facebook office. And I worked remotely, so I didn't have like free food and all that other stuff, but I had a really amazing benefits package. So I made a TikTok. It just happened to go viral. It was like maybe my third TikTok I've ever made. And I usually never talked about work before this, and I never talked about recruiting because to me work was work. And I thought that was obvious. So anyways, I talk about benefits at Meta and it goes viral. And then I get a bunch of questions. People think it's like an ad for Meta to work there. I was just sharing my benefits because they give you $4,000 in baby cash. If you
If you winning, just win. If you winning, just keep winning. But if it comes along with the possibility of you fumbling the bag as a result of it,
have a baby, they will give you $4,000. I just thought that was crazy. And they gave you, at the time, $3,000 for childcare reimbursement, which for childcare is nothing, but it's also better than nothing. You know what I mean? Anyways, so it went viral. A lot of people who worked at Meta saw it. It wasn't a big deal. They were like, oh my God, I loved your video. Until it was a big deal. And then they stopped loving my video. I got written up for something that was on my story. I wasn't necessarily
now you got to put the phone. Listen, you got written up for something that was on your story. Now, the number one thing that you need to do is you need to put the phone down. Put the phone, unless you're willing to risk it all, and which obviously she was willing to risk it all. But I think that people are just truly addicted to these things. These things are going to be the end of us. They are going to be the end of us. These devices, these phones, these cameras, TikTok is the devil. It's going to be the end of us, man.
Talking crap about the company, but I was just sharing how challenging it was working there because
now she's making the company look bad, talking about, I wasn't talking crap about the company. I'm just talking about how challenging it is to work there. And they're going to go for that. They're going to go for that. The company wants that out there. If you being on, they're paying you. So they're paying you. And they're the ones that's keeping you employed. They're giving you all of these awesome benefits and everything like this. And she said, and then they stopped liking it, was possibly because you weren't painting the company in a positive light. First of all, you put the target on your back by making yourself talk about it, not understanding that they chase all of the hashtags. They're looking at everything that goes viral and all of that other type of stuff, right? And so you put that out there. And then now you're talking about how, quote unquote, challenging it is to work at the company, and you don't expect for them to be able to pay attention to something like that. Okay.
As a recruiter, you reach out to people and they would just like cuss you out. I posted about that on my story. I got written up for that. I was like, people are watching my story. Mind you, I did not have followers at this point. I think I had like maybe 2,000 followers on Instagram.
So you did it for the 2,000 followers. Okay.
So I was shook. I was scared. But I was posting content on TikTok that had to do with like recruiting and careers, but not Meta. Specifically.
So you shook, you scared, but you're not shook enough or scared enough to actually put the phone down. So my question is, are people really like addicted to the point to where it'll even become self-destructive and you're willing to fumble your bag over the possibility of, like, why not just go and start talking about food recipes or where it is that you visited or your travels and the bad handbag that you recently bought and stuff like that? Like, why go into something that you're still getting written up for? Why post something that has to do with what it is that you do for a living or your career or the company culture or you getting cussed out or whatever like that? Why do that at all? Just completely detach and disassociate yourself with that type of content until you're in a position to be able to do so. If you're getting written up for something.
Not Meta, because at this point I had gotten talked to about my social media at Meta 3 times, three different occasions. So I was like, I'm not going to talk about this company at all. They even asked me to talk about the company on LinkedIn and to share about our hiring. They even wanted me to host a workshop on how to use LinkedIn to build your personal brand.
They had talked to you 3 different times. I wouldn't even be talking about anything related to what it is that I did that was happening at the company, not talking about the company. Just stay out of it.
At Meta, simultaneously complaining about my social media. It was insane. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just not going to talk about the company. So one day I get a call from legal. This is my 3rd time. So I already knew what was going on. At this point, I was so miserable because I felt like I couldn't even talk. I felt like I couldn't post on my stories. I couldn't post on TikTok.
So you was miserable because you couldn't pick up your phone and talk about the things that you wanted to talk about on social media. You were miserable because you couldn't pick up your phone and talk about the things that you wanted to talk about on social media. You couldn't post to TikTok, you couldn't post to your Instagram stories. And so you felt miserable as a result of it. I mean, come on, y'all. Let's break it down frame by frame and let's really take this thing in. This is our lives now. We are so immersed. Yo, I can't wait for the Apple Vision Pro to come out and for y'all to be walking around looking like whole fools. Not a half a fool, but a whole fool. I can't wait for y'all to be walking around looking like whole fools out here in these streets. I can't wait. I just cannot wait for y'all to be out here at work talking about this is what I do at my job without authorization and permission and all of that. And you got the whole immersive experience and you getting fired as a result of that. I can't wait for y'all to be out here in these streets.
I felt like I was being watched all the time. Because every time I would post something, my boss would be like, hey girl, come on.
So if your boss is like, yo, listen, they're watching you.
On the call with legal, they go through 20 of my TikToks, 20 of them, to ask me if they were appropriate. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever experienced. So anyways, I knew I was gonna get fired, so I quit, and then they fired me the next day.
Okay, now I'm confused. I knew I was going to get fired, so I quit, and then they fired me the next day. I'm genuinely confused. Let me just rewind that last part really quickly.
I knew I was gonna get fired, so I quit, and then they fired me the next day.
Did I miss something? No, honestly, I'm trying to understand. Did I miss something? I knew I was going to get fired, so I quit, and then they fired me the next day. I am so confused. I am so confused. I am very, very perplexed right now. I'm not sure what I'm listening to, what I'm watching. What's up, ladies? Come on to the front of the congregation. Come on to the front of the congregation. What's up, ladies? You see that? It's went from dark outside to light outside. We got the haze over from Canada, from the wildfires and all this other type of stuff. I got confused from night to day. From sunset to sunrise, I'm still confused. We started this whole live stream, this whole premiere that you guys are watching right here, this whole video that's going on right here. I was confused when I started it. I'm still confused. 3 to 4 stories in, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get any clarification going forward. But it's okay. It's okay. Maybe we can pivot over to the guys and they can give us more insight on how it is that we need to be able to look at things. Make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I got one more thing that I want to go over with you guys. And this is basically breaking down on Cam Newton's show the amount of money that these NFL players were making. I have not seen this video. Somebody has sent it to me, and so it's an opportunity for me to be able to react to it. But the title of the video was, I made $732,000 per game. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, make sure you get that Teach Pack, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And I'm hoping that you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. We're going right back to the live show tomorrow. But today, I am unable to see whether or not you guys already hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, but I'm probably watching while I'm in a very, very important meeting in corporate America right now. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification. This should be a good one. I'm assuming that this is going to be a good one. All of these are usually a good one, so let's get into it.
I think it's amusing to the viewer. What was the most money that was direct deposit into your account?
Ooh.
This means to my madness.
What was yours? You got to go first. No, you just said you think you made it.
No.
What number
No.
Made you think you made
I'm going to go, but you got to go first. It's going to go just like this.
My first check, I was a third round pick, and Mel Kiper's fuck ass lied to me.
Can't listen to him.
Fuck Mel Kiper. Like I said it for years, fuck Mel Kiper. He told
Strong words. Strong words, Channing. Very, very strong words, but let's continue. I love watching these type of videos. Everything that comes back to the money is always interesting to me, but let's continue.
told me I'm gonna go between 20 and 32.
He told you or you saw it on TV?
I saw it on TV. Yeah, fuck Mel Kiper. So I was gonna make $8 million. This before, oh yeah, Cam got caught up in that rookie scale. You got fucked because Sam Bradford got the real money and they caught you in that rookie scale. So that's why I was interested in how much money you made.
I'm gonna tell you.
My third round, the Dolphins gave me a check after taxes for $588,000.
After taxes, which means that's his net. Now, a lot of these guys, again, you got to understand that these is kids. These is dudes that's coming straight out of college. They very, 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 most of them are in their very early 20s, and they got a check for $588,000. Now, they not thinking about no future. They not thinking about when they gonna retire. They not thinking about no injuries. All they know is I'm balling, and I can go and buy me a Rolls Royce. I can go out here and stunt. I'm probably gonna go get some jewelry or whatever, so on and so forth. I have not seen this video yet, but I'm balling. Can you imagine being in your early 20s and getting a $588,000 check after taxes? Which means that his check was probably closer to $1 million because he was in the highest tax bracket. Man, I would be looking at my stub. That's the type of dude that I was. When I first really, really started making money and I got my first big check, I was less concerned about what I was taking home and more concerned with what it was that I was giving to the federal government. I knew right then and there that I was going to be the money guy, that I was going to be the dude that run that bag up because I hated the idea that the government got a whole bunch of my money and they didn't even do nothing to get it. All they had to do was just do like this. Let me keep playing this.
And I usually ride through the drive-through and deposit my checks, but I wanted to go in because it was a bad red girl behind the desk.
Yes, sir. And you wanted her to see that
And
check.
I wanted to see it, and she saw me walk in the line and she didn't even look at me. And I walked up there and I dropped that $588,000 check. She called me Mr. Kraut.
Mister.
People do subtle things when they got money to show you that they got money, fam.
And she need an override, too.
Yeah, and she said, oh, Mr. Kraut. And the manager had to come and sign off on the check. And they deposited $588,000. But heading to the bank, you talking about the emotions, heading to the bank for $588,000. At where I'm sitting now, like, that's not real money. But as the 21-year-old that just got a $500,000 cash, I called my mom, I called my sisters, I called my daddy, I called everybody, and I sat in the car and I cried. And
Rule number one, first mistake is that he called everybody. First mistake, his very, very, very first mistake is that he called all of his friends and family because everybody was like, "Oh, we rich." But here's the other part of it is that when you first get money, you like, "Damn, I made it." It's kind of like, for regular people when they first start making $100,000 a year and they get that offer, right? They get that offer sheet that say $100,000 a year, or you get your first really, really big bonus check or something like that, right? And it's like, damn. But then as you continue to make it, it starts to become normal. And so, you get used to it. It's like the first time that you ride first class, it's like, damn, it's nice up here. But everybody else riding first class, like, man, I need to go and, I'm wondering if I got platinum status or diamond status yet because, or they thinking about Delta One or, at some point possibly flying private and all of this other. Like you get used to it and then you don't even think that that's a lot of money anymore because you're so used to making a lot of money. If you've been able to flip that or, make that for an extended period of time and then make the conversation now changes from, man, that's a big check or that's a lot of money to, man, I spend that in a month just in my investments because I'm trying to make sure that I can maintain a lifestyle for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Smiled and I cried because this is more money than anybody in my family history has ever made.
Correct.
In a single year.
Collectively.
Or probably 3 years.
Collectively.
And that's what happened. And so $588,000 check is what my signing bonus was, the third round draft pick in 2005. And I knocked it down.
I mean, yes, Lord.
I had to capitalize.
You dropped the check.
So you wouldn't knock that down. He probably went to. I'm wondering if the girl behind the counter actually went with him. You know what I'm saying? Did she go?
You dropped the check. Like that's not even a pickup line. You straight.
Yeah.
Like, you good to go.
You dropped the check, she dropped the drop.
Yeah, it's easy.
Give and take.
I like movies.
A favor for a favor.
Yeah, like I think
It's tricking, even if you got it.
like it's so crazy. We make jokes because they always talk about their signing bonus. I got $1,000 when I was undrafted free agent. They gave me $1,000. I remember after the draft, only the Saints and the Giants even offered me like an undrafted rookie contract. By the time I got off the phone with my agent, the Saints had pulled it. You know what I'm saying? And like Channing has this saying, because he always like effing up in our show, and we can't find him sometimes, and it's all.
Having partnerships, boy, and working with other people, you have no clue of what be going on behind the scenes. But listen, it gave him that dog. I'd rather be the guy at 21 years old that get that $1,000 and only have one offer on the table than the guy that got 588, because I guarantee you I'm going to be way more successful than that dude long term. I'm going to get the better jobs. I'm going to have a better work ethic. I'm going to have a different mindset. I'm going to hustle harder. I'm going to push harder. If we look in the NBA today, it's not the first round picks outside of the LeBrons, right? We're not talking about the Zions and the Ja Morants of that 2019 draft class. We're talking about the Jokic. Jokic was drafted, what, 30th or something like that? I got to do my research or whatever, but you get that dog in you. It's a whole nother mindset when you feel like you got left out or people they underrating you and all of that. It's a different. I like this. I like this.
He always goes, everything always works out. You know, and I remember, man, after taxes, it was like $683 or something like that.
$600?
$683. And I just remember, though, like I remember, this is when Steve Madden was hot. That was the only thing I bought. I went to the mall in New Jersey, and I bought me a pair of Steve Maddens.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, man, I could wear, and I bought some brown ones. I could wear these hoes with anything.
Anything.
They didn't matter. I was wearing them in the summer.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But I remember, man, when Pittsburgh signed
I got a new love for this dude. I got a new respect for this guy.
me, Adam Archuleta had just got the biggest contract for any safety ever in Washington. And the coach from Washington called me and they was like, we want you to come back. All three of y'all gonna play, woo-de-woo-de-woo. And but they wanted him to come back on vet minimum. And I was like, well, that don't make sense to me. I was like, you just made him the highest paid safety in the league. All of us are gonna play, me, Sean, and him. Like, it don't make sense that I'm gonna be on vet minimum. So I go to Pittsburgh, man. And at the time, I was supposed to leave Pittsburgh and go to Seattle and Atlanta, free agency. At the time, Lawyer Malloy signs with Atlanta, and another safety is going to visit Seattle, and they thought they were going to sign him. So at the time Pittsburgh offers me the deal, I have no other deals on the table. Turns out, after I sign with Pittsburgh, or I tell them I'm coming, the Seattle thing opens up. I think like Tennessee or somewhere else opened up. But at the time, all I had was one deal on the table. And so it gave me no choice. Like, I had to pick that. And I remember I got more guaranteed money, but my signing bonus was 1.7. 1.7. And that was going into my fifth year. I'm driving to the airport, man. I called Yant and I called my mom. You know what I mean? I told them what was happening. And I cried all the way to the airport. And for me, after not being drafted, after being cut by the Giants, Washington giving Adam Archuleta, who I knew I was better than, the highest paid contract, telling me I could come back on vet minimum. It was the first time, and I even had to compete to start in Pittsburgh. It was the first time in the league I felt wanted. You know what I'm saying? So like, I didn't even cry. I wasn't even crying about the money.
Happiness.
I was just happy. I was like, finally somebody is saying you're at least worth this. And I remember I didn't have a financial advisor or nothing to that point because I was undrafted. I was always waiting to get cut. You know what I mean? Like just always.
After that third or fourth preseason game,
I was always
you was the dude that was waiting on the phone call.
The first time I did taxes, I went to H&R Block. My mom took me.
These are NFL players. A lot of people don't understand how many players is on a team in the NFL. They got a practice squad that they pay, right? I'm telling you, man, that a lot of these players, just because they was in a league or they played in a league, it's so easy for them to be able to go broke because they not getting it like that. And you combine it with the fact that they financially illiterate. They go into H&R Block, which obviously we know that he's transitioned and he's doing really, really well now. But they going to Junebug's tax service right up the street, and they still living with their mama, or they might have a flash in the pan where they get a little bit of money, and so they can step out a little bit. But then at the same time, they don't have the education, the literacy, the investment perspective. They don't have a plan for when they start to get out of the league, or when they get injured, or when they get cut, or when somebody come in and replace them, and so on and so forth. And so a lot of these guys are behind the 8 ball, and y'all think that just because they made the NFL or whatever, or they made the NBA and they was in there for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years and they supposed to still have money. No, man, no. These guys live regular, everyday lives, and it is not fruitful for them as a result of it at all.
They messed my taxes all up. They wasn't taking out when I was playing in Seattle. You folks like, I was jacked up.
Yeah.
But like, that was my
H&R Block.
Yeah, I didn't know. That's where my mama went.
That's where my mama went. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.
CPA?
Dog, I was making $215.
For a long time of your life, somebody's doing these things for you, which goes back to my point. You're rich financially in your bank account, but you're broke as fuck, not knowing the essential steps that goes into being compliant to be a U.S. citizen. You gotta pay your damn taxes.
I thought I was.
Yeah.
I thought I was.
Yeah, you don't want that problem.
No.
You don't want Uncle Sam. That's the one big threat. I don't mess with Uncle Sam. But to extend the combo, in '98, when I got my first signing bonus, they weren't even doing direct deposit. That was $5 million.
So old.
I mean, hey, bro. You know, I don't believe in old, man. I don't believe in that. But it was I did a 6-year deal, $5 million signing bonus. My next signing bonus was in 2003 was $8 million. Then 07 was $8 million.
That dude got a bag, didn't he? $5 million signing bonus, $8 million signing bonus, $8 million signing bonus. This dude was busting down them checks. Woo! I hope he has some good advisors on his team to actually help him make some smart decisions long term that allow for him to get the assets that pay him for the rest of his life. Make sure that, hey, athletes, come holler at Anton from Anton. Send me a DM or send me an email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. I'm going to help you be able to manage that more effectively. I can show you how to move a little differently to ensure that you're going to be successful the rest of your life. No wonder he went in the circle. That dude was busting down bags.
Then after that, the Jags cut me. I had to go to New England. I did a 2-year, $3 million.
Yeah.
But in terms of the biggest signing bonus, it was those two $8 million ones in 2003 and then 2007. And boy, I know how the old school players before me used to feel when I got an $8 million signing bonus, right? Because I'm looking at these guys nowadays, the guys that are really, let's say they're like 6 men. If we're gonna, compare it to the NBA, there might be 6 men, 7th man. They're getting $20 million up front, guaranteed.
Just third down backs.
Bruh. But that's the game.
That's the game.
I understand, the multiple streams that the NFL is able to generate, the revenues, et cetera, et cetera. So, man.
And then guess what? Them dudes gonna be looking at the next dudes like, man, y'all getting $100 million, but guaranteed. They gonna be looking the same way.
Go get it, but be smart with it. Build together. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it is.
Yeah, let me flip it on you.
What was yours?
Let me flip it on. No, I don't watch that.
We gotta ask him, cause he got hit on that rookie scale stuff.
Yeah, but then he came with 100.
No. But first, Sam Bradford got 70.
Yeah.
And then you got 24?
22.
22. Like the league, but it's not 70, bro.
Bro, I'm still chasing that, trying to get what Sam got. You know what I'm saying? But for mine,
You can forget it. You can forget it.
my rookie deal was it was capped, right? And it was $22 million, all guaranteed.
What can the dude that get the 70 buy that the dude that get the 22 can't buy? I know we looking at it in a vacuum because it's hard to talk about it when you ain't in it, but when you get the $22 million guaranteed, it's like, what the hell? Like, and I know some people look at me and, you know, some people in the Patreon and they see what it is that I bust down every single month and all of that other type of stuff from some of my businesses. And they like, man, but you still chasing it. And you always going to be on that chase is one of the reasons why billionaires and millionaires and 100,000aires, they all continue to be on that hunt because it's the chase. It's the chase for more. It's the chase to build greater. Once you open up that Pandora's box, you realize that you don't really have no ceiling. And so I can understand what he's saying as far as he's still chasing at 70.
And Drake had a song out, 25 sitting on 25 mil. Well, I was like, I'm 20 years old sitting on 22 mil. You feel me? And
it ain't really 22. It was probably more like 11, 12. But I mean, 11, 12 is 11, 12.
At that time, that was the most money that I've ever seen. So my signing bonus probably looked like, what, $6 million after taxes? So really,
signing bonus, $6 million after taxes. You know how much money he probably paid in taxes? Oh my God. I would be absolutely horrified. I know y'all thought I was gonna say I would be excited as a result of getting the $6 million after taxes. I would be horrified. Absolutely destroyed and horrified at the idea of giving that much money away for free. Because a lot of people, they just get the check and like, oh man, it's $6 million. I'd be looking like, yo, but it was really 10, 11 before I did the 6. I ain't got no, I would be absolutely horrified.
like 3.2 or whatever. Then I
wait. He said 6 million and then 3.2 after taxes. Come on, man. Hold on. Let me go back.
Like 3.2 or whatever. Feel me? And at that time, that was the most money that I've ever seen. So my signing bonus probably looked like, what, $6 million after taxes? So really like 3.2 or whatever.
From 6 million to 3.2 after taxes. Oh, wee. I would be absolutely horrified if I looked at $6 million and then 3.2 after taxes. Oh, that hurt my heart just thinking about it right now. That hurt my heart to think that you can take in $6 million and then pay and only get $3.2 million after taxes. That hurt my heart. Before I ever even got into the league, I would have immediately started some businesses and let me stop. Make sure y'all talk to the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It's the adjusted gross income that they determine that you got to pay in taxes. It's the adjusted gross income that they determine after whatever it is that you got to pay in taxes.
Then I hit the bank again at 14, signing a contract for 103. So that came back. I think that was like an $18 million signing bonus, so in a hard check, it looked like $9 million.
Signed a contract for 103 M's. $18 million signing bonus. $9 million goes to the IRS, state government taxes. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is horrifying. And again, I know people like, listen, but he had $9 million in signing bonus after that. Listen, for me, based off of how I'm looking at this is completely different. I'm not looking at what it is that he took to the bank. I'm looking at what it is that the IRS just got. Just. I heard Kobe Bryant, the way that NBA players structure their deals, and I'm going to ask the next NBA player that I have an opportunity to interview. I heard that Kobe Bryant used to get his in one check a year. So whereas some people can get it every month, every 2 weeks, or whatever, so on and so forth, you can structure it however you want, that Kobe Bryant would get his one check per year. I can't imagine taking $9 million to the bank after looking at the taxes that come out of that 18. I would throw up. I would absolutely. And then they got the nerve to have Eat the Rich shirts.
See what I'm saying? So my base salary through that year, it wasn't the sign-up bonus that gave me that rush. It was that every Tuesday, when you looked at that account and you seen that plus or that green number
Right.
that's coming in, man, I was looking at $732,000 every
game?
A game,
bro.
Could you imagine making $732,000 every single week? Every single week, you're making per game. You're making $732,000. That's why the ticket prices are so high. That's why we paying so much money for them courtside seats and stuff like that.
A game. That's throwing four touchdowns, one rushing, or one fumble loss and 3 interceptions.
Same check.
Same check. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm talking to young cats now, and I'm like, bro, don't sit up here and be in awe of the rapper that's falsifying this lifestyle. Like, bro, commit to something. Because once you commit to something, bro, you're going to get compensated for that.
You're the MVP.
Yo, Cam just gave gems. He just gave gems. You are going to be rewarded for your greatness. He just spit gems all day long.
Right. MVP in 15. And like Freddie T, you talking about the 8 mil, and now you see guys getting whatever. Think about
What about the guy that ain't getting nothing, that thought that he was going to really be getting the bag, but he got cut off of his first or second year, or he got an injury. That's really who the people we need to be having a conversation about.
the game has changed. Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
With the guaranteed contracts. Kirk has hit him for what?
He been kicking them.
$250 million.
He's been kicking them.
Robbing.
Right?
He's been kicking
robbing
them.
the league.
Think about that. Like Deshaun just
Hey,
got.
Channing said he robbing the league.
230.
230 guaranteed. Like when you see the way the game is moving for your position, and you look at dudes, we're not even talking like if they start and they think they're going to start the next year, when they get these new contracts, how do you feel looking at that? Remembering that at a point in your life, you were the best football player in the world.
I mean, the competitive side of me, the hating side of me would be like, oh man, they ain't worth that shit. You know what I mean? But I respect the game enough to say, man, go get you yours. Because if we all work together and we all play the same position, everybody's mentality isn't like this. I say, Channing, go break the bank. Right? Now it's going to be on Ryan.
Because then it's going to be your turn to be able to break the bank. And so it's better for us to work together than us to work against each other, because then we can break the bank together. Us getting money together is much better than us getting money apart. Even if we look like we competitors, we actually create an environment in which all of us benefit as a result of it.
Because how it is, if he signs for 42 mil, you play his same position, and you may have the better statistics, at least you're going to get 44. Then it's going to go to Fred.
Right.
Fred going to shoot it up again to 46. Then it's going to come back to me. Then I'm going to shoot him for 50. Then it's going to go back to Channing. He going to shoot him for 51. You see what I'm saying? Once you look at it through that lens, like, bruh, go get that bag. You know what I mean? Because it's only raising the market price for your position. So I don't look at it like, damn, he don't deserve that, because we all are fathers. We all are husbands, boyfriends. We got to do a great due diligence for our family, and this is our livelihood.
That's real. That's real. I think that was one of the realest things that I probably ever heard Cam Newton say. Yeah, man, that's That IRS, bro. Something else. When y'all start really, really getting money, even outside of your job, and you start getting that outside money, that business money, whatever it is that you do for a living, look at that haze. Look how horrible that haze is over there. Let me show y'all this real quick. That's the lake out there. You can't see nothing. I don't even know how I'm gonna be able to. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to drive to work the way that I want to drive to work today. Man, going into the office is gonna be weird. I don't even think I got a badge. Do I got a badge? We'll figure it out as we go. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We're going to be right back to our scheduled program. Maybe I'll give you an opportunity for you guys to miss me, the live, since I can't see what's happening. What's happening in the chat? Moderators, y'all going in there and y'all keeping the chat clean? We taking care of business? We on top of things? All right, I love it. I love it. I like it. All right, listen, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I want y'all to continue to run that check up, run that bag up. Hopefully you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm on your way out the door. We not dealing and we not taking accountability for no hyenas. We gonna bust down the bags. It ain't no fumble on the Fridays, but we don't fumble any day of the week, hopefully. I love you. I appreciate you guys. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. Go and get that Teach Pack. Hit the Patreon up and get that game, get that money, get that interview. We gonna be in New York next month, and we're going to be running the check up. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.